One of the things we're being constantly asked when we do the strategy with our members is, why do we start thinking about Christmas in July? And I always go back to one of my boss in the corporate that I was working in. It's all about Christmas in July because you've got all the leads for the PR that are starting in July, so for the brand's perspective. And all of the, they start thinking of the coffrets and the offers and everything else in July. So a lot of time, we want them to work in advance, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is 6 months in advance. So you could argue that's a long time before you can actually think about something when there's summer going on.
Yeah. Yes, but you can at least make a start, can't you? Start considering what your plan is going to be, because it's one of those things that just creeps up on you. Before you know it, you're there, and you haven't actually, if you want a pre-Christmas event, whether it's to do this, you might do a shopping event at the end of November, and then you want to know that you've got all your impulse buys in for Christmas, and they're ready and stocked, and you've designed your packages and so on, and what's the theme going to be for Christmas? What's your standout treatment going to be? I mean, there's a lot to think about, isn't there?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people that come and start with us, they're always underestimating how much we want them to work in advance.
Yeah.
Because a lot of time when you're in an operational business, all you're seeing is a day-to-day.
Yeah.
You're not seeing kind of the bigger picture. So if you start thinking Christmas now, that means that you'll have, like you said, a proper plan of action, and that's kind of part of the strategy ultimately.
Yeah.
And at least the big theme of things, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it just means, I mean, you want to capitalise for Christmas as much as you possibly can. So if you've got that solid strategy in place and you've already started thinking about it, then, I mean, by the time the summer ends, I mean, Christmas is in the shops before you know it anyway, isn't it?
It's starting earlier and earlier, isn't it? It's like
October
I think
time. Before October, and I think Halloween starts in February now.
So do Halloween in January.
In January. And that's the thing, is there's other specific dates that you want to consider as well prior to Christmas. But yeah, it's just good practice, isn't it? To make sure that the strategy is there, you know what you're doing well in advance. Yes, you can tweak things. It doesn't mean it's set in stone.
Yeah.
But at least you're getting an idea of what you're going to do, what your window displays will look like, your merchandising, and so on. So, and it's important. It's important for every month of the year, but especially Christmas. And like you said, there's a lot of people that say now, God, I can't think about Christmas yet. But it's definitely the right time to do it.
Ultimately, I feel that at the moment, if you look at the last few years, that is there really a Christmas that is as important at other months? Because we could argue that May, June, July are becoming more of the Christmas money, and there's no kind of, we keep waiting for that Christmas rush, isn't it? It's going to be a rush. It's becoming later and later. Next thing you know, you are fully booked and you can't see the opportunities anymore.
Exactly.
Because you're completely fully booked and you have no outside perspective of how much more money you could take.
Yeah.
And I think that it is still a month that is, you can really make the most of every single opportunity, but if you don't prepare it and plan it, so we've got a member who's very good at finding little kind of gifts or putting things together. That takes time. You can't do it even in October. Sometimes things are out of stock in kind of October, November, so it's you keeping it all very, very late, but it is that perspective of, are we seeing Christmas like it used to be, where you knew you were going to be completely crazy busy?
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely changed. I mean, I personally think since the pandemic, it's definitely Christmas and that desire. I think because a lot of people were staying in for so long.
Yeah.
But I do think it will come back around. You know, it's like everything else. Slowly things, maybe not last year because everyone was quite used to not going out so much. So, but maybe this year will be different. But either way, the planning of it, and even more so because you want to make the most of that time of year. So the more you plan, the more you've got in place, the more you know what you're doing, then the more you've got a chance of being able to capitalise on everything. Also looking at the team and what hours they're going to do around that time of year, because actually in a lot of places, definitely, it used to be so in my clinic, people have booked 6 months in advance anyway. So people will already be booking for their December appointments, especially your loyal kind of visitors, that want to make sure that they don't miss out on their Christmas appointments. So you need to know when you're going to be open, when the business will be shut, so the team also know. And also, once that's full, then you then know where the opportunities will lie for you to then open extra hours or...
I've got a big kind of conversation at the moment with one of the member who is basically in a bit of difficulties with the number of holidays that's left for the holiday year, because we've had all this kind of holiday allowance was able to be moved from year to year, plus maybe she's mismanaged or she kept some of the key people on busy time like June, July, etc. But then suddenly you've got a whole team having to take the holiday, and if you're not careful, next thing you know, you've got no one in November, and you wonder why November is quiet.
Yes.
And then, you've got to look at the holiday management throughout the year, and that's something for me we used to do that a lot in advance, because otherwise next thing you know you're stuck with kind of hardly anyone on the shop floor, which means that you mismanaging the, like you said, the demand or anything else like that. So it's about that planning that's going to be enabling you to maximize the the diary, the opportunities, the retail opportunities. But do you feel that also in terms of marketing we're enticing that clientele to consume with us, because there's so many much more opportunities to buy online and everything else?
Well, I mean, it has to be attractive, doesn't it, to want to buy it. And I mean, I think definitely the clientele base that you probably have, they trust you, they like the products and the gifts that you bring in, especially if it's something you've done before. But they'll probably be excited to see things that you're offering at that time of year anyway. Yes, you can buy online, but actually when it's there presented in front of you, I still think the opportunities to sell it's just that people don't necessarily now want to go out purposely to buy. But I think if you're already there having something done and it's there in front of you on the desk or whatever, wherever it may be, then I think absolutely that I think the opportunities are still there just as much.
One thing we used to do a lot was the whole gift voucher campaign as well. That can start quite early, in sense that, okay, what are we going to do for gift voucher? One thing that was really popular, and actually we ended up doing it for November and December, is at the beginning was purely December, where if you purchased, so you buy me £50 worth of gift vouchers, thank you very much.
Yes, of course.
And the salon will give you £10 for January to redeem against treatment, and obviously me as my gift voucher would have an extra £10 voucher to redeem in January. So January was always busy. Because it was so successful that we ended up doing it for November and December to redeem in January and February,
I love that.
which allowed everyone to, but things like that again, preparation, how do you market it, where do you put it in terms of, are you going to have a poster, are you giving the team an incentive, if in which case which incentive. So it's like having that 360-degree angle on everything that you want to do, but unless you plan it, it's going to be lastminute.com, and then you're going to wonder why it's been successful. So Christmas in July, I remember my boss going on about it, and I was thinking, this is just why? And then the more we worked on all the leads and everything else, the more you realise actually the more you plan, the better your strategy will become, and more opportunities, I guess. So all you have to do now is press the subscribe button and join us every week for an Insight Chat.
And if you have any burning questions that we haven't yet answered, then just pop in the comments below or send us an email and we can include them in one of our weekly chats.
And also we have started this amazing community of like-minded salon owners to join us on a monthly basis with our Insight Chat subscription.
On that chat as well, you'll also get access to lots of free downloads and content that can really support you in your business.
And thank you so much for listening.
And we'll see you next time.